Dooku was born on the planet Serenno to Count Gora and Countess Anya around 80 years before we see him make his movie debut in Episode 2. His parents had an extreme distrust of anything to do with the Force or the Jedi Order in general, and upon finding out that baby Dooku was Force sensitive, they immediately contacted the Jedi and told them to come pick him up. But in an event that would forever remove him from getting a Parent of the Year award, in his haste to be rid of a child that sickened him, Count Gora left Dooku outside of the city without clothes, in a place that he was in danger from the local wildlife. Luckily, baby Dooku would later be picked up by a Jedi Seeker and brought back to the temple. But sadly, this was not the last time that Dooku would have a run-in with his parents. For the next 10 years, Dooku would train in the Jedi Temple as part of the Hawkback clan, a group of younglings that lived and learned together. Unlike most of the other younglings in his clan, Dooku preferred study and training to fun, always looking for ways to impress his masters. Because of this, he didn't really fit in all that well with the others his age, other than his bestie, Sifo-Dyas. Being a bit of a rogue, Sifo-Dyas was just about the complete opposite from Dooku. Even Dooku himself would admit that he never really understood why he was so drawn to his friend. Before we push on, I want to make it clear that at this time Dooku has no idea who his parents are, just that he was born on Serenno and that he was of noble blood. Around the age of 10, Dooku would end up traveling back to Serenno with Master Yoda and some of the other younglings to attend a celebration. The celebration was supposed to be a good way for the Outer Rim colonies to showcase the different ways that they could be useful to the Republic. The Jedi Masters were attending to put on a lightsaber demonstration, and Yoda had decided that this would be a great opportunity to bring along the younglings so that they could get the opportunity to meet those that they would later be charged to protect. It's here that Dooku spots a young girl and a boy in the crowd, and feels a strange and unexplained connection to the girl. After having her purse stolen, the young girl finds herself trapped in a dead-end alleyway with 3 thugs. She fights against them valiantly, even biting into one, but even with the assistance of her brother, they are quickly overwhelmed. It's at this time that Dooku shows up to help, and armed with an electroblade and the Force, he fairly easily chases the thugs off. He finds out their names are Jenza and Ramil, natives of the city of Karania. Dooku and Ramil pretty much immediately dislike each other, but it's very apparent that he does share some kind of a special bond with Jenza. When Dooku tells the two his name, they immediately recognize it as a Serenian name, and he tells them that he was actually born here. Jenza gives Dooku a tour of Karania, the capital city of Serenno, and they enjoy the festival together, until eventually ending up at the Great Assembly Hall, which is basically Serenno's version of something similar to the Senate. Jenza's father is actually in charge here. Looking around the hall, Dooku struggles with his emotions. He feels like this is the place where he truly belongs. Over a century ago, the planet was originally controlled by the Sith Empire, but Jenza's ancestors led a revolt and took control of the planet, renaming it after her family and joining the Republic, a decision which Count Gora hates. Looking around the assembly hall, Dooku immediately is drawn to a sculpture of a large-scaled beast, the Tirra'Taka. I have a separate short video about the Tirra'Taka, so if you're interested, I'll actually go ahead and have it posted somewhere on the screen for you if you're interested in watching that. The Tirra'Taka is known as the dragon that holds the world together, and was once controlled by the Sith before eventually breaking free of them and becoming buried beneath the planet. Dooku touches the sculpture, marveling at how real it is, almost as though he can feel its heartbeat. He is so invested in the art piece that he doesn't notice the ground beginning to shake and the building itself coming apart. He then begins hearing a loud blaring roar in his mind and loses all ability to focus. Jenza is screaming at him to leave, but he ignores her. She shoves him aside as the roof collapses and they are buried. Neither of them is seriously injured, but they are trapped beneath the ruins of the assembly hall. Jenza tries to convince Dooku to move the rubble using the Force, but he doesn't think he can. That would be a major feat for even a Jedi Knight or Master. Remembering back to a time that Yoda had told him that he was very strong in the Force, he decides to go ahead and try. Using every fiber of his being, he focuses, falling deep into the Force, and the rocks begin to move. He feels so much pride, but quickly realizes that Yoda is above him and is actually the one moving the rocks. This makes Dooku feel super embarrassed and ashamed of himself for letting his pride get the best of him, even for just a moment. About this time, the worst father on the planet shows up, and Gora goes directly to his daughter to make sure she's okay, while Yoda attends to Dooku. Speaking with Genza, Gora realizes who Dooku is and is immediately furious, glaring at Dooku with hatred in his eyes, but Yoda steps in between them. It is revealed that Dooku is Gora's son and Genza and Ramil's brother. Gora yells at Yoda because he was told never to bring Dooku here. In his fury, he has Dooku and the Jedi escorted off the planet. Afterwards, Yoda apologizes to Dooku, telling him that he should never have brought him here. He can sense great confusion in the youngling. Dooku doesn't understand how his father could hate him so much, and it hurts him. Afterwards, and over the years, Dooku would continue to keep in contact with his sister Genza through hollows. But guys, those are different stories. If you've made it this far, make sure to let me know in the comments, do you think there is a worse father than Count Gora in the Star Wars universe?